In July 2026, Japan's parliament updated the rulebook for the world's oldest continuous hereditary monarchy for the first time in 77 years. At first glance, the changes suggest progress. Lawmakers finally closed a loophole that forced princesses to choose between keeping their royal titles and marrying outside the imperial family. But the text contains a deliberate omission. The law sidesteps the emperor's 24-year-old daughter, Aiko. She works with the Red Cross, maintains high public approval ratings, and possesses the training to lead. Despite this, the ban on female emperors remains in place. The crisis is driven by demographic reality. Of 16 adult family members, only 5 are men, and there are 0 children. The succession line is narrow. After the emperor and his brother, it passes to his 19-year-old nephew, Prince Hisahito. He's the final name. Currently, 73% of the Japanese public supports allowing a woman to take the throne. Parliament is aware of this support, yet they are choosing to move forward with a plan that risks the statistical extinction of the monarchy to avoid appointing a female leader. Conservative politicians often defend the current system by claiming that restricting the chrysanthemum throne to male-line descendants is an ancient, unbreakable Japanese tradition. Japanese history actually contains 8 women who reigned as sovereign empresses. They performed the sacred rituals and issued the edicts, ruling as heads of state in their own right during a 178-year stretch, often called the Age of the Empresses. The ban on female empresses is a relatively recent development. It dates back to 1889, when Meiji-era oligarchs studied Western constitutional models and adopted Prussian ideas about dynastic patriarchy. They codified a male-only rule to match the militarized state they were building. The 1889 rule worked because the household maintained a biological hedge, the practice of imperial concubinage. This ensured a steady supply of male heirs, even if an emperor and his wife could not produce a son. After World War II, Japan abolished concubinage as part of its post-war reforms. However, the government kept the strict male-only inheritance rule, removing the mechanism that allowed the bloodline to persist under those constraints. The current succession crisis is the predictable result of a 19th-century political rule being stripped of its biological safety net. To bypass the question of a female emperor, the government's 2026 reform permits the imperial household to adopt male descendants from 11 aristocratic branches. These branches were stripped of their status and disbanded 79 years ago. This plan relies on recruiting ordinary 15-year-old boys who have grown up with the freedoms of modern citizens. The government expects them to suddenly abandon their private lives to serve as imperial heirs and provide future male-line descendants. While this aristocratic adoption route has been discussed for 2 decades, it has yet to produce a single volunteer from the disbanded families. Lawmakers are currently placing the survival of the world's oldest monarchy on a theoretical pipeline of teenage commoners, solely to prevent the emperor's popular daughter from ascending the throne. Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi holds a paradoxical position. As Japan's first female prime minister, she reached the highest political office in the country, yet she used her authority to defend the exclusion of a woman from the highest ceremonial office. For the ruling party's traditionalist wing, the emperor's primary function is to encode a specific cultural identity, defined by paternal purity. To them, maintaining this technical bloodline is more important than reflecting modern social progress or public opinion. This ideological choice has left a 1,500-year-old institution dependent on biology. The entire lineage now relies on one single teenager, Prince Hisahito, eventually marrying and having a son. If Hisahito has only daughters or no children at all, the paternal line ends. By its own logic, the world's oldest monarchy extinguishes itself. Parliament had the opportunity to look to its own history of empresses to stabilize the throne. Instead, they have engineered an impossible equation, choosing to risk the outright destruction of Japan's oldest institution just to prevent a woman from leading it.